Hi guys, this is Quest for Truth, and of course, I am your host, C. Anthony Coulter. And today, of course, this is special edition Thursdays, and we usually go and bring in guests that are international from various countries, continents of the world. But today is going to definitely be a special edition Thursday. I have a young lady here by the name of Dana Harrison, and I found out yesterday that she wanted to get her story out there. She's a young lady, who has gone through um, a very traumatic experience in her life growing up. And so what we're going to do today is we're gonna allow her to be able to tell her story. We want to encourage her, we want to uplift her in every way we can. So as you all come on, like and share, let her story get out there, let the world understand who she is and understand what she has gone through. Hey down, Dana, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 30 years old. I'm a two-time brain tumor survivor, and I have a son. He's 5, and that's pretty much it. I work and just take care of my son on a daily basis.
Okay, and you said you are a survivor. You're a survivor of.
I had two brain tumors. One in 2021 that I had brain surgery, and then this year it grew back in the same spot, and I did 29 rounds of radiation on my head, and so far so good.
Wow, that is awesome. And yet still you're here.
Yes.
That's like definitely a blessing. Like that's awesome to
Oh yeah.
me. Like that's a story to tell because there's a lot of people out here who still yet dealing with various types of cancer,
Oh yeah.
and some are still yet fighting the fight, you know. So
Mhm.
you are a light to the world to be able to let people understand that all they got to do is continue to fight and they can
Yeah.
win.
Oh yeah.
So that is definitely awesome. So you're 30 years old
Yes.
and you have a traumatic uh backstory to tell us. Would you like to expound on that a little bit?
Oh yeah. So I knew there was a lady that had watched everything with us growing up and stuff, and I had forgotten her name. And the other night, she had reached out to me asking me if I was Dana, that was adopted by Jim and Libby, and I was like, yeah. And she started telling me all this stuff, and I had knew about the trauma. So basically, the traumatic things that had happened. So basically, he kidnapped me when I was born. Me and my older brother. He kidnapped us both, and he forged my mother's signature on the adoption papers. And he would keep us hidden. He wouldn't let us go outside and play. He just like was like we couldn't answer the phone. Only thing we could do, he locked us in the room. Well, he I know Chris got a little bit more freedom than I did, but he locked me in the room, and we weren't allowed to really do much of anything because he knew what he had done. But at this time, I didn't know that. He told us that our mom, we thought that was our sister. We called her our sister the whole time, and he would but before that, I have an uncle named Jamie, which is my mom's brother. He would Is there certain, like, can I say stuff on here? Cuz I can say whatever, like there ain't no limits.
It's a limit. Just keep it.
um okay, keep
You
it
got
PG.
it.
Okay. So like he would make them do sexual things together, my mom and her brother, and then he would have sexual relations with his wife watching them do that, if that makes
Wow.
sense. Yes. And he has done it to multiple girls that he's been around. And he would beat on us. He beat on me all the time. And he would beat on Libby, which is his wife. And he would beat on, I knew before me, he would beat on my mom. And he's the one that would threaten her and stuff like that to, like, not say anything. And so eventually, when she got old enough, she had ran off and all that. And the kicker is they told my biological father that my mom had a miscarriage and I didn't make it. So he went off my whole life like he never knew I even existed until about 3 years ago. And so like Jim, it was like living with a monster. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of them stories you see on Lifetime where you're like living like you never know the person that he made me believe he was my father. Like I was calling him dad, I was calling her mom because that's who I thought they were, and the whole time they were like sexually assaulting us, beating on us. One time, Libby burned me with cigarettes. She poured liquor on my head when I was about 6 years old, trying to set me on fire. And
Wow.
yeah, so it was a lot going on. And the lady that reached out to me, she was a key witness to it, like all. And she was like, I was so worried about you growing up. She's like, but it affected me a different way than it did my siblings. My older brother, he's really bad off. Like he has very bad mental problems from it. And me, I don't know. I guess whenever he passed away when I was about 12, and right before he passed away, he told me that he had lied to me about being my father. And he gave me a picture of my dad and gave me his name. And then he had passed away a couple days later. And Chris Kristen is my younger sister, and my younger brother is Jeffrey. They didn't really experience that. They live with my mom because she at the time when she had them, she was already gone away from Jim and stuff like that. And I just wanted to tell people because Jamie, my uncle, he had a brain tumor like me, and they sent him to juvenile because he threatened to tell on them, and they sent him to juvenile. He went to the store for them, and they reported their truck stolen, and he went to juvenile, and he would get beat in there and stuff. And they think they're saying that he could have died from the beatings that because the brain tumor was already pushing on certain things. So I just feel like telling the story would get justice for him because the lady told me she dated Jamie, the lady that was the witness to it all. She dated my uncle Jamie, and that was they were like high school lovers. You know what I mean? And so I think that getting the story out gives Jamie justice, if that makes sense. Like, and my mom, I've hated her my whole life. You know what I mean? Like I've always I was whenever he told me whenever he was passing away, he told me about my sister being my real mom and stuff like that. I've I've held this like anger towards her for like not trying to get us back, and she raised two other kids. You know what I mean? But then, whenever I was like really talking to Tina, the lady that dated Jamie, I was just like, I think I owe my mom an apology. You know what I mean? Because she went through it all. Like she went. I mean, it was just bad. It was just so bad for her, and I feel really bad. So I ended up reaching out to her and apologizing. But Jamie deserves justice because he wasn't able to live long enough to tell his story, and these people, they passed away, but they went down. Like everybody was looking at them like, "Oh, you're saints. You stopped your life to take care of kids that wasn't yours." But nobody understood what was actually going on behind the doors. Like it was really bad.
Wow. So what do you think was what do you feel like or believe was the motive or the intention for doing what they did?
Um, I'm not really sure. When I talked to Tina about it, she says that they took us because they wanted the money from and the like benefits from the government from for it. But she said that every time like for an example, she saw me one time. It was Easter, and they brought me over to her house, and they went to put me in an Easter dress, and I had feces in my underwear, and it was I had it on me so long that the side of the underwear was like stuck in my skin.
Wow.
Yeah, like they didn't take care of us at all. They like even it was just even as I got older, we were in dirty clothes. The house was like filled with roaches. It was just disgusting. Like they had us in like really nasty environments and stuff like that. And even in school, I had the worst clothes. Like I was bullied a lot for it in school because I was like so dirty, but I couldn't do nothing about it. Sometimes where we lived at, they didn't even have water or power. So I don't really know the motive. I don't know. Well, actually, I kind of do know the motive. So Jim, he had a newborn named Dana, and she passed away when she was a newborn baby due to SIDS, the sudden infant death syndrome. And she said, Tina said that once that happened, you could see something change in his brain. Like you could see like the obsession. Like if I have photos of him holding me and stuff, and the way he looks at me different than anybody else. Like he looks at me like he has to, like it's just this look that he has to have me, like he's just obsessed with me.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
that's traumatic. That is totally traumatic. And
Oh yeah.
I can't even say that I understand, to that aspect, but even with the viewers that we have and everyone who's going to actually listen to this interview, I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure there's someone out there, someone that has gone through the same thing you've gone through,
Yeah.
and people who might yet still be going through it. And because a lot of times, what I understand is that a lot of times, not only do kids go through this type of
Oh yeah.
abuse, there are grown adults who
Mhm.
go through sexual abuse, just physical abuse, mental abuse. There's
Oh
grown
yeah.
ups that go through the same thing. So for you to be on here today, being able to open up about what
Mhm.
you went through in your life, like I said, it definitely is going to encourage someone else.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I
Definitely.
definitely believe that, and I definitely believe that the young man is going to get justice through your testimony.
Yeah, that's what I want because I feel so bad. I just I couldn't imagine living such a short life on earth and like living through that with your own parents, and then you don't get to grow older and get out of that situation so you can like live life and learn what real love is and stuff like that. And he just like because he died at a very young age and he was still with them when he died, so he never got to break out of that. He never got to experience life. He never got to do that because he died so shortly. And I just want to tell it because he deserves that. He deserves the justice that
So
he
what?
just deserves
So
it.
what got you to the point? What got you to the point of being healed from all of the past trauma?
Um, did you say healed?
Yes.
Okay. Basically, when he passed away when I was 12, Libby left me in the house for about 4 days, no power, no water, nothing. And then social services knocked on the door, picked me up, and I got placed in foster care. And it was with this lady named Linda. I was her first ever foster kid. And it took me, I was so scared because, like, I had not known anything else in life except for the trauma, the beatings, the just straight abuse or whatever. And Linda stopped everything she was doing. I came with the clothes on my back, I had nothing. And she got me clothes. She did everything for me. And like I was only with her for a short period of time, but in that time, she showed me what it was like to be loved by somebody. Like she wasn't mean to me. She was nice. She was very understanding. It was easy for me to talk to her. And basically, I had to take. I did take therapy for a little while. I did have to go to therapy because I was just confused because I had went through all this abuse, and then turns out I was kidding. He kidnapped me. That wasn't even my dad. And so my brain was like, I love him because he was my dad. Well, I thought he was my dad, but then I'm like, look at what he did to me, and now I have to find my real dad. You know what I mean? And so it was a hard time to adjust to it, but I eventually moved forward and I got out of foster care and I started working. I did my own thing, and I've just been, I can't let that define who I am because there's nothing I can do about it. I can't go back in time and change it. So you have to move and you have to grow through it to be able to move on from it. And that's just all, you just have to move on from it.
Can you please? I know you just said it, but can you please say that one more time? Because what you said is so powerful
Oh, yeah.
about moving on from it and not allowing it to define who you
Yes.
are and who you can be. Can you please just say that one more time
I
to the
will.
audience?
You can't let it define who you are. You have to grow through it and to go through it. So you just got to get past it. You got to accept it for what it is. And you can either go in two options. You can let it change your life and you can be miserable, or you can move on and not make the same mistakes that they did.
That's good.
Oh
That's
yeah.
good. That's good. I pray. I really pray, and I hope that I know that everybody that knows me, they're going to when they see this and they start listening,
Hmm.
it's gonna hit home. It's gonna hit someone, and the message is gonna go out there. Even
Oh yeah,
even I mean even internationally as well.
that'd be
I'm
good.
just I don't know, like it's a short segment, but even just what you said is so
Hmm.
powerful. And like I
Yeah.
said, because there's still yet a lot of people and a lot of people's kids who are going through these types of abuses,
Right. Hmm.
and in that they feel like there's no one to talk to.
That's right. That's how I felt for a long time. And
They feel
my
like
advice,
there's no
yeah,
one that can understand it.
right. That's
You
how
was
I
about to say
felt a
something?
lot of the times. I felt like people, if I spoke up, people would look at me differently. People would like think like, "Oh, she's damaged," but it's not true. Like once I reached out to somebody, it made me feel like 10,000 times better. And if I can give any advice to anybody, speak up, tell somebody, get out of that, so you can get out of that situation because no one deserves that. And no matter how old you are, you don't deserve to be treated that way. And if you can get out of it, you'd be way better off. So I just always encourage people to tell their story because you never know. When you tell your story, it travels and you never know how it can change somebody's life.
Right. Don't, and I would say to the audience, don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Read the whole book.
Yep.
Get to the end.
Oh, yeah.
Then you'll understand.
Yeah.
And you said I don't know, y'all don't even know how, I don't even know if you really understand the words that are coming out of your mouth and how powerful they are, because
Yeah.
you mentioned the word damaged. And people would think that you're still yet damaged or whatever, but you said it yourself that that's not you anymore. So
Yeah.
like that's deep. That's deep, and it's definitely powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other words of encouragement that you want to tell to the world, as it pertains to what we talked about? Any words of encouragement? Anything you want to say to enlighten, inspire someone else who may be going through the same thing you have gone through?
Um, basically just don't be afraid to reach out to somebody is my big thing because a lot of people stay in those situations because they're too afraid. Like people threaten, like I was threatened before whenever he was beating on me as I got older not to tell nobody or he'd like kill me and stuff like that. Like they use them threats because they think it like intimidates you. And I just want people to know that if they can get to a spot where they can reach out to somebody and they can tell without like try to do it without the predator that's around you knowing, but like try to reach out, always speak up and let somebody hear your voice because no one deserves that. You have to stand up for yourself. You can't just lay there and let them abuse you like that. You know what I mean? So you just have to speak up and make sure your voice is heard.
That's good. That's good. Speak up and let your voice be heard.
Hmm.
You do not have to continue to go through what you're going through.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
even at that, especially for adults, you don't have to
Hmm.
stay in it. If you and that person can't see eye to eye, then separate.
Yep, that's right.
Separate until they get better or you just decide to find better.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
don't just allow yourself to be wrapped up in something that has no light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah, that's right.
because you'll always walk in darkness.
That's true.
If anything else you want to say to the people, Dana, because I'm
Um,
really loving this. I'm just sitting here like, wow, that's deep, right?
no, I think I've said it all.
Okay. And well then, we definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. I
We definitely
appreciate it.
appreciate you for coming on. We definitely appreciate you for sharing your story.
Oh
We
yeah.
definitely appreciate you for your encouraging words, your words of inspiration to people. Everybody that's listening to this, everyone who has a chance, when you do listen to this interview, to this podcast, please like and share it. Please share it as much as possible, because you don't get people coming out every day talking about their past. You don't get
Yep.
many people coming out
That's
talking
right.
about their life experiences and what they've gone through. You got a lot of people out here, and they walk around like they good. They got this facade and this persona,
Yes.
making it seem like they've never gone through anything, and they're the most broken people
Hmm.
in the world.
Yep.
A lot of people wearing masks, but
Oh
here
yeah.
she's not wearing a mask. She's showing you her true face,
Oh yeah.
and she's showing you everything and telling you everything that she went through. So, you guys. Here I am again. My name is C. Anthony
Thank
Coulter.
you.
This is Quest of Truth, and we would like to thank Dana Harrison for coming on today.
Thank you.
It has definitely been an honor to talk to you. Um, you're connected with someone I know, so I hope you both, stay connected. And y'all and continue to tell your story.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
As much as anybody that want to listen, continue to tell your story. I might, somewhere in the future, you might have to do this once a month. Just whoever might not hear it this time
Yeah.
can hear it next time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll definitely talk.
All right. Thank you.
And I appreciate you.
Thanks.